Hi, my name is Melissa van Dijk, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can use La Roche-Posay Zero Zinc Face Mist, which is suitable if you have oily, blemish-prone skin. However, I do not recommend using it if you have sensitive skin. You can use it daily in the morning and or evening, either on its own or in a skincare routine. When using it in a skincare routine, it's going to be the next step after cleansing, so like a toning step, and then you can follow on with your serum, maybe moisturize and then sunscreen throughout the day. Now you can see the example setup that I'm going to show you now step by step as a demonstration. This is a routine that I can recommend to follow if you have oily, blemish prone skin, keeping the focus mainly on La Roche-Posay products except for the sunscreen, which is Nude Survivor 30 sunscreen. That is a sunscreen, a mineral sunscreen that I can highly recommend if you have oilier skin type, and it has a lighter tint in it, so it is quite dry and mattifying on the skin, but it does not leave a white cast. So this is the example that I can share with you. However, when it comes to the cleansing step in the evening and using such a mineral sunscreen, I highly recommend working with an oil or balm cleanser to properly break it down. Same would apply to stubborn, water-resistant, waterproof makeup. Either use oil or balm cleanser on its own, or you may want to do a double cleanse. If you want to see a video on double cleansing, I have such a video in the top right corner. But I'm going to keep my main focus on the regular cleansers right here because I'm going to go with a morning skincare routine. So when it comes to La Roche-Posay cleansers, they have two cleansers from the Effaclar line, which are great for oily, blemish prone skin. And I'm going to use the micro peeling cleanser, which contains 2% of salicylic acid. Now right here it mentions that I need to apply to wet skin. So when using your cleanser with water, my suggestion would be using lukewarm water to warm water, so it feels comfortable on the skin and that you can properly rinse off the cleanser. You can wash your face above the sink or in the shower, depending on your usual habit. That's completely fine. Just make sure that you're going to start off with freshly washed and clean hands. If they're unclean, wash them at first and then get started with washing your face. So I'm going to wet my face at first, use a bit of the Effaclar cleanser, massaging it all over, and then we're going to rinse it off. So let's go ahead and do this. Then use about one pump, maybe half a pump. Usually with their cleansers you can get a lot of product, so about a coin size amount. Rub it between your hands and then blend it evenly all over your face and neck for about 30 seconds to a minute. Just make sure to not get it into your eyes nor into your mouth. So once you have massage cleanser all over, you now can go ahead and rinse everything off by just using your hands. In the shower this is quite easily. However, above the sink I highly recommend using a makeup microfiber washcloth in between. They are extremely soft and can help you to remove the residue from your cleanser, because when just splashing some water onto the skin to remove your cleanser with your hands, it isn't doing such a great job. There's always some residue, mainly along the hairline. Take your washcloth and wet it. Squeeze it out. And now use it to remove any last traces of your cleanser, maybe in the evening your sunscreen and or makeup. And now rinse again. And now once you have properly rinsed off the cleanser from the skin, you want to make sure that you're now going to take a clean towel and gently remove any excess from the skin surface, because this is now wet skin. So you want to make sure that you're going to pad off the remaining water drops from the skin before moving on with your skincare routine. So once you're done with your cleansing step, you're going to move on to the next step, which is now the application of the Zero Zinc Face Mist. Now, this is a mist that you are going to use to spritz all over your face and neck. Then you're going to let it absorb into the skin for about 2 to 3 minutes. And then whatever is still left on the skin surface, this is the excess that you're going to tap off before moving on to the next step. If you feel the need of moving on to the next step, it would be completely fine to just use the mist on its own after your cleansing step as well. Now spritz it all over. And I'll just give it that 2 to 3 minutes. Now I'm going to move now fast forward because whatever is now left on the skin surface, you want to make sure that you're going to properly take it off. And you can go ahead and take it off with cotton pads, which to be honest is quite a waste unless you have reusable cotton pads, then this is fine as well. You could do this with a tissue or even with a towel. Now I primarily work with a towel so that I can evenly pat off the excess because I'm doing this at home anyway. So, and now if you just want to leave it as it is, if that's going to be your evening skincare routine, that's completely fine. In the morning, you can follow with sunscreen to protect the skin throughout the day. However, if you do usually work with specific serums or in general treatments, maybe for your oily skin, maybe for your blemishes or acne in general, then now would be the time to move on to that specific step. So I have right here La Roche-Posay Niacinamide Serum. This is one great example. Usually La Roche-Posay serums have a quite thick texture, so with their serums 3 drops should be enough for your face and neck, and they on their own feel already quite hydrating. So if you feel like with your current skincare routine without applying a moisturizer your skin feels great, that's completely fine. And just work with the Zero Zinc, just work with your serum, and that's basically it if you just want to add hydration to the skin and control your oiliness. And rub it between your hands and then blend it evenly all over. Now if you prefer to use your drops of your specific serum or maybe gel or cream, whatever you use as a treatment on your face, go ahead, apply it immediately to the face and then start blending it, or just apply it with your fingertips. Whatever application method works the best for you, go ahead and follow it. So, and once you have applied it all over, you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. Now again, if this is going to be your evening skincare routine, it's fine to stop right here. You do not necessarily need to follow with a moisturizer if you do not feel a need. However, one great moisturizer that I can recommend from La Roche-Posay is the Tolerant Ultra Fluid. It's extremely lightweight and it makes the skin extremely soft. And so then if you want to follow with your moisturizer, my suggestion would be just using the moisturizer in the evening, but leave it out in your morning skincare routine. And then you can use about a pea size to a bean size amount. My hands are quite smeary, so about that much, more or less, depending on the moisturizer that you're using, but this is usually the amount that I like to use with the Ultra Fluid. And then you can blend it evenly all over. Now I'm going to leave out the moisturizing step because I'm immediately now going to follow on with the sunscreen. And I just find it best to not use a moisturizer before applying the sunscreen, so that it's not going to feel too heavy, maybe too greasy or oily, depending on what products you have. So therefore I'm just going to go with my recommendation that I like to do myself. And so then when it comes to the sunscreen, I have one great example right here, which is NIOD Survival 30. Again, that one has a lighter tint. It is a mineral sunscreen. You won't look like a ghost when using it, because that's usually what turns me off with mineral sunscreens, but they're extremely lightweight and to some extent mattifying as well. So if you should go with this one, just don't forget to give it a good shake before you're going to use it, and apply 10 to 15 minutes before sun exposure so it has time to set before you're going outside. Now, if you're going to go with your sunscreen as a general guide, my suggestion would be use about half a teaspoon for your face, neck and ears, and about 1 teaspoon for your décolletage, like if you want to include that one as well, because it's a larger area. So overall, this guide can be, of course, adjusted depending on the sunscreen that you have. Depending on the texture, you may want to use a bit more or less, and of course depends on the size of your face, maybe your neck and décolletage. So I have half a teaspoon right here. I'm going to fill that up so that you can see the amount. You do not necessarily need to use a spoon, but you should get the overall idea of how much you need to use, so that you have an even layer all over to protect the skin. So about that much, trying to show it as best as I can. Dispense it in the palm of your hand and then start blending it all over. You can use your sunscreen around the eyes if the sunscreen does not irritate your eyes. Of course, please do not get it into your eyes nor into your mouth. If your sunscreen should irritate your eyes, avoid the eyes. You may want to switch to a different sunscreen, or you want to use sunglasses instead. And then start blending it all over. So, and once you have applied your sunscreen all over, you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. And then this would be a great skincare routine that you can follow in the morning with your sunscreen, in the evening maybe with your moisturizer, if you have oily blemish prone skin, including La Roche-Posay Zero Zinc Face Mist. Now, this is the demonstration that I want to share with you, and I do hope that you enjoyed this video. Don't forget that in the evening, if you're trying to remove such a sunscreen, you need to use an oil or balm cleanser to properly break it down. Otherwise, it becomes quite messy because your regular cleanser won't be able to take it off. If you're working with chemical sunscreens, this is quite different. There, your usual cleanser should be able to properly remove it from the skin. Now again, if you want to go over the example morning as well as evening skincare routine in your own time, if you want to know more about the products that I have picked, you want to see a little description next to it, if you want to look them up for yourself to get them, or if you're curious about it in general, you want to see a specific sunscreen guide, you will find everything in my entire PowerPoint that I have prepared for you, which you will find in the description box down below, and you can even download it to your device so that you have everything again in a nutshell. Now, I do hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did so, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up as well as share it. And if you now want to learn more about skincare in general, you want to see the double cleansing part, I'm going to leave it at the end of this video so that you can keep on watching. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon in the next one. Happy skincaring. Bye.